In the vast and varied landscape of colonial India, no frontier proved more turbulent or more crucial than the Northwest, lying between the Indus River and the rugged mountains of Afghanistan. This frontier was a corridor of ambition, anxiety, and armed resistance. Successive Indian empires, Hindu Shahi, Ghaznavid, Mughal had all tried to tame this restless land. The British, too, were drawn in not just by conquest, but by the allure of a scientific frontier to protect their Indian empire from external threats, especially Russia. The conquest of Sindh in 1843 and annexation of Punjab in 1849 pushed British India's boundaries far beyond the Indus River. But this brought them face to face with the fiercely independent Baluch and Pathan tribes, mountain communities who accepted no ruler save their own tribal codes. Nominally, these tribes fell under the suzerainty of the Afghan emir, but in truth, they owed loyalty to no one. The British soon realized that geography offered no natural barrier, here only winding passes, deep valleys, and unending skirmishes. By the early 1890s, tensions rose once again. In 1891–92, the British occupied Hunza and Naga, remote yet strategic states in the Gilgit Valley. These territories overlooked key routes leading to Chitral, a pivotal access point into the Hindu Kush. But their annexation rattled Abdur Rahman, the emir of Afghanistan. He feared British intentions were turning northward, towards his own domain, to resolve the growing tension. A boundary was negotiated. In 1893, Sir Mortimer Durand and Emir Abdur Rahman signed the Durand Agreement, drawing a formal line between British India and Afghanistan. This Durand Line was intended as a permanent frontier. In exchange, the emir received certain frontier districts, and his annual subsidy was increased. But the ink on the agreement had barely dried before it was tested. Tribal uprisings broke out. Soon after, the Waziris, Afridis, and Momans, never content under foreign rule, rose against British outposts. To suppress these revolts, the British stationed a permanent garrison at Chitral and fortified Malakand Pass. But resistance would simmer until 1898, when large-scale uprisings were finally subdued. For now, it was in the shadow of these disturbances that Lord Curzon took charge as Viceroy from 1899 to 1905. Curzon brought a new approach to the frontier. He abandoned overextended military outposts and replaced them with tribal levies, local militias drawn from the same rugged communities, trained and led by British officers. This allowed the British to withdraw from advanced positions, while maintaining influence through indirect control. Curzon also reorganized administration. He carved out a new political unit, the Northwest Frontier Province, or NWFP, placing it directly under the government of India, severing its dependence on the Lieutenant Governor of Punjab. The results were surprisingly effective. A region that had burned for decades saw relative peace, though tribal unrest never truly vanished. Small skirmishes continued, but never erupted into full-scale war. In 1932, the NWFP was elevated to the status of a governor's province, cementing its administrative role within British India. But history never ends at a border. In 1947, with the partition of British India, the Northwest Frontier Province became a part of Pakistan, where its story of autonomy, resistance, and strategic importance would continue into the modern age. The British may have drawn a line through mountains and valleys, but the frontier always defied boundaries defined instead by its fierce people, untamed land, and relentless demand for freedom.